Hello there. Oh, hey, it actually worked. Are these working too? Oh, hey, I guess those are working. For once, a Windows update and they didn't reset everything. Hello, Will Poker. Welcome in, SoFluff. Hello there, JK. Welcome in, Miminik. See who else we're missing here. Hello there, Nanrator. Welcome in, everyone. Happy to see all of you back. Hopefully you've had a good week. Happy Friday to you. It's Chicago night. Giving the board a quick wipe down here before we get going. Thankfully I didn't have to reset all my audio settings. I'm very happy I didn't have to do that. Okay. Where do we start? Actually, I already started. I made a poolish earlier. This has been hanging out for a while. Probably not long enough as it should have, but it's been hanging out for a while. Coffee. Powered up, that's a good sign. I didn't have coffee this morning. I ran out. I had to go to the store. where it surprisingly was on sale, but it was on sale at a price lower than, or higher than I normally. Hi, Muskeg. Bacon's catching up. Hi, Dragon. I'm sad that none of the other channel points are quite working yet. Maybe that's something I can work on tonight. Everything in my life has gotten delayed by like a week. Ugh. It has been an exhausting day. Let me double check just to make sure here. It's mid to high 70s across the county today. There's some places that hit 80. Oh, hush. So yeah. Why didn't I just finish this last night? Finish it now. Hi there. I just can't really get into mangoes. Like, they're alright. Like, I don't dislike mangoes. But I just do not at all have that, oh my gosh, that fresh, perfect mango is the best thing on earth mentality. And I have met more than one person that has that feeling. But whether you like mangoes or not, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Cheers. Bean juice. What do we get going here? Let's pull up the proper recipe that I've been following for the baguette. Which is King Arthur's. Which I don't expect to be what I consider to be a really authentic baguette. But I think it's going to be trustable to give me something in the ballpark of what I want. Nope, that's not going to work. I should actually just throw that out, but I'll maybe toss it with the next batch. Mango curry is not something I've had. I am intrigued. More flour than I thought this was going to be. I guess I will use that other cup of flour. I feel about the same way about curry that I do about mangoes. That said, curry is a very broad term. It's just basically means pureed sauce, or sauce made from pureed, sauteed ingredients. Hey, Jean Ray. But I am not... When it comes to the more, like, woody, warming spices, I like nutmeg pretty well, but cinnamon, cardamom, all of those in that area, along with the anise, and that I could sort of take or leave in my life. Actually, that might be too warm. I've been working the sink tonight. Oh, we're okay. We're on the upper end, but we're okay. I'm almost out of yeast, chat. Almost done with another brick. I've mentioned before, like, I haven't done a lot of Indian food. I haven't even tried a lot of Indian food. Like, I've covered, I think, the basics as far as at least trying it. As far as actually cooking most of it, I've done a few curries here and there. Not leaving all that salt in my jigger. Well, that might be possible here in the soon future, but actually it might be a week or two, but not forever. A lot of my plans got pushed back a week. Little honey in there to make the yeasties happy. Wake them up because while this has been going since early this morning, and it has most certainly done some poofing, it has not done enough poofing for my preferences. But that was a cup of water, or a cup of flour, and a half cup of water this morning. Oh, hey, we're stuck looking at my beautiful mug instead of the board there. There we go. Now you can see all this stuff that I'm doing. Hey, Splits. Understandable, so. I guess we're waiting on that for a couple of minutes. So, did we go to? Did I miss? I don't have that in front of me, and I'm not getting proper alerts for that either right now. Actually, that's timed pretty perfect. It sounds like it's looking like the bot did that pretty well tonight. So we're waiting on the yeasties. Hopefully you've all had a good finish your week. Hopefully you had a better one than me. Like I said, I was hopeful. I was sitting there looking at a shipping tracking all day yesterday, saying it's gonna be here. It's coming today, and never came. It never showed up as really being close, so I didn't really 100% trust it as ever being there, as actually coming all day, which is sort of why I kept checking back to it all day. I wake up this morning and find out that, oh yeah, we took something that was previously tracking in the Oakland area and shipped it down to San Diego. Good job, Amazon. For their efforts, I did consider looking to replace it with a different sale somewhere else and something along that line, but yeah. Couldn't even find anything like overnighted that would, yeah. Well, that yeast is definitely awake tonight, but we're going to give that another moment still anyways. And I think on purpose, I'm relatively sure on purpose, then when I looked at Amazon for other competing products that they offer and other options, instead of that, surprisingly, all of them had a shipping date after the date that they were promising the ones that were delayed for me. There was no options for me to even pay more to have a faster shipping rate. Oh well. My life is not ending. It's just frustrating. Yeah, frustrating. Let's see, what else has happened? I did most of my shopping for today ahead of time, so, like, the only thing I went out for today was coffee. Like, I need coffee. Gotta have coffee. Speaking of coffee, I'm already halfway through my mug. who's playing in the Chicago pay-per-view WWE. I didn't even know that really existed these days. Hey, Abby. Hi, Alex. Okay, let's go with this now that I think this is properly woken up. That's nice and foamy. We'll go with that then. So we have our poolish along with our dough, and we're going to knead all of this together. And then allow it to proof. Oh, come on. If you haven't worked in yet, you're done for. I'm sure some of chat read Tifa and immediately thought of something other than food. Though I believe it's spelled differently, but my mind still went there anyways, even though I have never played the game. Certainly never had that influence in my life. I just know it exists out there. Add the brake. Back to kneading. This seemed pretty dry for what I think most baguettes are hydration-wise, and I didn't do the math to figure out what the hydration is here. Like, let's see, what was this? We have 4.5 cups of flour and 1.5 cups of water. Yeah, that's nowhere near. Like, I think of typical hydration for baguettes, 70-ish. And if you're unfamiliar with how hydration is calculated, flour is 100%. So, if you have 100% hydration in your flour or in your dough, you have equal amounts water and flour by weight. And 1.5 cups of water is not 70% of 4.5 cups. I don't know how long I want to knead this. I'm not too tired to stop yet, so it's come together nicely. It's feeling nice and soft and workable. It's not so much noticeable with a lot of the more common flours. It's more noticeable if you're working with like buckwheat or something a little more tough to work with. But there is sort of like a work-in when it comes to kneading, not just getting the knead to the right place, but like it loosens up. Like it'll first, and some of them first will tighten up and then loosen up. This is almost pleasant to knead. Hey, Sniper. All right, how much of a... olive oil. One of these days I'm going to spray my monitor. I've already gotten my keyboard in the Stream Deck before. And this is my second mouse. I don't know that it needs to be inevitable. I just need to organize my life better. Like this, like what you see here is like the most organized part of my life. The rest of my life is so disorganized. And yeah, like I sit here and wonder, like, what could be if I had actually got rid of half of the junk that I never really use anymore. Like the other day I posted I think it was yesterday, I posted a photo of a board that I used to put on my sales stand at the farmers markets, talking about what stock was. And like, why do I still have that? Like, I have it on file. Why do I still have this old, like, the lamination is going on. I don't know how well it came across. Like the lamination is going on it. It had been jammed into things back and forth for probably several years on a daily basis. Just Alright, so we got that plastic wrapped and poofing. Next we're getting into gravy time. But I'm making my gravy because I'm not going to be, as much as I would love to, spend hours and hours and hours and hours roasting beef and then allowing it to cool and thin slicing it for this project. I'm not doing that. So I don't have the large amount of au jus that a place doing lots of this is going to have. And I suspect in most cases, neither do they either. They're usually throwing some other things in there, expanding it, adding water. Yeah. I'm going to start off by doing almost an onion gravy for our base. And so my true answer here is I'm going to make my own like au jus gravy, beef flavored, and then I'm going to use thin sliced deli roast beef warmed up in that au jus. So therefore sharing flavors and then using that. And that way I can have enough that I can maybe come close to doing some sort of dunking action. want to go about this. By the way, I realize that I do this differently than just about everyone I know. Not many people steal their knives like this, and it's not exactly the safest way to do it if you're in a commercial kitchen. But it's the way that I do it. Most either down over a board or work with me, onion. The one that gets me is I don't, like, one of the more common ways, I was sitting here and I couldn't remember one of the ways, and it just struck me as like, I don't even want to recommend this way of doing it to people, but the way a lot of people do it is like this. And you notice which way that knife is facing as you're doing that? No, that's why it's not nearly safe if you got a guy at elbow length right over here, but... Or lady. Person, individual. Well, the way I do it is different from most people and the way most people are taught. Just putting that out there. Most people, if they've seen someone do it, it's been either at like a hibachi grill or at like someplace serving roast beef and ham, you know, some buffet or something like that. Got an action station going. Those are big money for the, you know, hotels. Got to get those action stations in with the buffets. You get the intern out there at minimum wage or even less, and you charge them an arm and a leg because you got a live person there. That isn't cheap. We're going to bill you $200 an hour for that chef to be there. Gravy, okay, that'll work fine for gravy. What else am I doing tonight that might need a pan? Potatoes, no, we're fine without the potatoes doing that. Though I should probably get on potatoes here next. Notice how it's getting like hazy in there? Dough's trying to start a weather storm inside of its miniature environment. We smoking back here yet? No, not quite yet. Man, nature is cruel. Like, I was just noticing, then I looked it up because I noticed that it was weird, and it makes me weary about even wanting to replace my hummingbird feeders. Is very obviously a couple hummingbirds been coming by with some form of avian flu. But the reason that I say nature is wicked, like the flu, the reason I looked this up is they have bumps on their beaks. And if you think about a hummingbird with a bump on its beak, it means that it can't get into flowers, it can't get to nectar, it can't get into the flowers on my feeder over here because they have this like grid pattern on them that doesn't allow their beak down it. And but you imagine, like, you get the flu and you can't, like, physically can't eat. That's sort of up there with rabies and a fear of water. Salt in with the freshly sauteing onions. Let's start preheating. Oh, do I want to do this in a pan or do I want to do this on... Let's do it in a pan. We're going to do it on a stove top. Executive decision. I'm not roasting the roast potatoes. That said, this recipe for potatoes that I'm doing tonight seems to have a very, very wide definition of how it's made. I've seen versions of it made on the stovetop, which is my plans for tonight that I've decided. I've seen it roasted in the oven. I've seen it fried in a deep fryer. I guess it doesn't matter how you cook the potatoes for this recipe. So yeah, there's that. I should probably switch sides on these two, though. I want more heat on this than I do on the potatoes, so we'll swap sides. This burner no longer burns near as hot as this one. Swap all of you over to that side. That's all I've got with that, huh? Let's just move the camera. It's gonna mess up all my other scenes, but we're just gonna move the camera. Let's see, how does that look if I switch the other side? Yeah, but we can switch that side easier. A little water from our yeast measuring cup. Now another thing is I could have made a giardinara, and I have made my own homemade giardinara in the past, and I just went and bought the hot giardinara. So yeah, that's what we're using for our toppings on our sandwich tonight. And that is such a mix of things. Like, that would cost a fortune these days to buy and mix, which probably did when this was originally a thing, but I don't suspect this is a, these were just all fresh at the same time thing. This is more of a deli all year round mix thing here. No, we're adding more water than that to this. Might as well use this up. I might have to get a new jar soon. Vegemite. And beef better than bouillon. Fresh jar. I need to find something to put this in, because I don't trust their jars. Anyways, we'll get this mixing first. We'll add in a cup and a half of water now. That was about a cup there. I want to get it all mixed together before I drop it all in there. There we go. Let that cook. Bread be poofing. Man, I wish I had some spare deli containers. That might work well. What else do I have that could possibly work for this? Hi there. Not much. I really don't have much that would work well for holding this jar airtight. Like, I think that's too tall for this. Yep. I don't think it'll fit in those either. Like, that's the thing with, I think this is really how Better Than Bullion makes their money, is look at how soft and airy that is compared to their, like, this is very soft, very pliable, and I think it dries out very quickly in these jars. And I think that then concentrates what you have very quickly. So you use more of it in a concentrated level, whether it's what you want to do or not. I just don't have anything to put that in right now. I guess I'm trusting their silly little jar for a bit. Because not only is it you're leaving it in the jar, and even if you have just a slight leak in there, you got to consider, if you store it in the refrigerator like I do, you have constant airflow going on in a refrigerator. A refrigerator is designed to try and get air into all of those small nooks and crannies in order to equalize temperature. And so it has a tendency, and actually works very well for drying things out. Like, it's great for putting the chicken in there overnight and drying it out. Well, I've noticed that it is a lot, like, that is a little bit more softer and airier than I remember them in the past, but at the same time I've noticed new jars are soft and airy, and they very quickly dry. They very quickly become a thicker paste. Because whether or not you use the same amount of the jar, you know, you get enough uses out of the jar, that means that they sold you at that weight. And if it's not air, which I suspect it's not, If it's some sort of moisture or alcohol or something that's going to dry out, alcohol is great at that. They do that all sorts of stuff in food. It's going to sell as a higher weight and then dries out. Now let's give that a taste, and well, actually, let's add the rest that's on this knife in there, because it's not going back in the jar. And then I want to give this a try and see what this is like. If this is too potent in this form, we need to add water, or... I mean, I did hit this pretty heavy with both Vegemite and Better Than Bouillon, especially for the amount of water that's there. It's delicious, but it's like super, it's like concentrated ramen broth. So I think I'm going to add another cup of water into this. How long do we wait on our baguette? Let's get started on our potatoes first, and then we'll go back to our baguette for its final shaping. Baguette taters. Specifically going for the fingerlings here tonight. And slicing these in half. Pretty taters. Runaway cranberry. I don't know if these are called cranberry potatoes, but I just assume so. They call just about anything that color cranberry for some reason. Just realized I still have flour built up on the back of my palm. All right, adding butter to hot pan back here. If I don't drop it. Add some sunflower oil on top of that to this party. And then I want to sort of medium-low flame here for this. Sort of just barely hot enough that those are bubbling once it gets the temp. Even see the smiley face for a moment. I need water. Ooh, I didn't drink my orange dream. I got an orange dream in the fridge. Orange Dream would be a orange cream soda. I'm not gonna say what brand, but you can see just barely bubbling here as we come to temp. I'm going to start laying our potatoes down in here, cut side down, and hope we can fit them in there. It's going to be close. Actually, it's not going to be a close. We don't have enough room. So we'll do half and half, I guess. We're giving our clientele multiple textures and different textures. It's truly a premium fine dining experience. Hey, it might have been smart to spray those with some oil before I put them on the pan, wouldn't it have? It's okay, I probably got 10 minutes until the oven even gets close to 400 anyways. Down in the oven with the ones going in the oven. Back to bread. Now we got our taters all going. I've got the ones in the oven for 40 minutes at 400. Well, it's not going to be at... It's preheating to 400. Oh, no wonder this thing's making like 20 of these, isn't it? Oh, it's making 3 baguettes, yeah. So, no wonder it used all my flour. I don't know what I'm going to use 2 baguettes for. But we got 3 baguettes. I got plenty of au jus to soak up, so I guess I got something to soak it all up with now. Still not quite all the way there. I'm going to turn the potato pan 180 degrees because it gets warmer on one side. You can see all the bubbles are on one side there. That's because that's the hotter side of the pan. So we got that started. I went a little fatter on my baguettes. I mean, it's sort of fitting. If you're following the proper recipe and doing the King Arthur thing, these are, what are they saying, 16-inch? So this one may be in the ballpark, but these two, not quite there. You said that, Soph. Not touching that one. Let's see if these potatoes are getting too well done ahead of time here. I'm seeing some brown here already. The other one's not even like halfway there. Got some beautiful color there. I should do an egg wash. Let's make an egg wash. No, we understand. You just really love pickles and bread. But speaking of pickles, and I mentioned Vegemite earlier too. Why did this reset on me, Discord? Why did you change on me? Why are you doing this to me? We do have the ingredient challenge vote going for Wednesday between dill pickles and Marmite or Vegemite. Dill pickle lovers everywhere. This is your rally cry. You're needed. If you want to see me have to make dessert out of dill pickles, this is your moment in time. Because it's looking like I'm going to have to make dessert out of Vegemite. Yeah, it looks like all these need a good turning. So I'm going to attempt to do that. Some of these just can come out. Some of these just need to go to the side. Yeah, you're done. Hey Timmy, welcome back. Sorry if I missed what you said in chat. Oh, hey. Yes, I have, I believe, prepared juice to dip in, both for beef and the final sandwich. Also, sorry if you missed that entirely, because I think we're in an ad break from the summary being posted in chat. Yeah, get ready. Those are going to get better. It may take a week, but those are going to get better. Do I have any more of that? I think I used the last of that up. Yeah, it looks like I used that up. That's a bummer. That would have been perfect for tonight. My microphone die? No, it's okay. Just maybe quiet in my earbud. And for anyone wondering, I did get the giardinara. I have made my own homemade giardinara in the past, but I felt to be authentic this time, especially with all the odds and ends peppers that they throw in this. Like, this is not just like some jalapenos. I see some that could very easily be jalapeno, but like that ain't a jalapeno. That ain't a jalapeno. That's some sort of like banana pepper or something. They may have the actual Chicago sport peppers too. Like, that's one I can't find really. Like, I've looked at several places around here, and I think I've done an online search for the local markets. I can't find like actual Chicago sport peppers that they put on like their hot dogs and stuff like that. And I've had to find some other alternative. Going back to talking about the hummingbirds, I have been making sure too the last couple of times to dunk the whole thing down in a bucket of bleach water and make sure it's fully cleaned out and all that good stuff. And still, I imagine this time of year it's rough for that sort of a thing for them too, because they're probably largely relying upon feeders this time of year around here, despite it being California and it being a mid to high 70s degree day today. They're probably all feeding out of feeders, and they're probably sharing all their germs between the feeders until they're unable to eat from them anymore. Just do that with some of these to them. You need more color all over. Yeah, you're nice and brown though. You can go on that side. Hi, Sahara. We got bread poofing. We got potatoes cooking. We got potatoes baking or roasting, whatever term you prefer. And we have a sort of au jus chilling on the other side of the stove here for finishing up. Take a quick look at that over there. Can't really see, it's dark liquid in a dark pan right now, but trust me, it's beefy and delicious. I'm sort of using the other potatoes timer here for judging how close I'm getting with these. Like, some of these are very obviously cooked through. Like, these ones that are up here are already soft enough that don't need to be in the pan anymore. These ones are got enough color, but I'm not thinking they're fully cooked through, especially this guy here. Yeah, they got some great color on them. Not quite cooking through, but that's sort of the game when you're doing it in a pan. Is direct heat right on the pan, everything else sort of not cooking. $95 in Arizona. Wow. Ugh. Actually, I'm reminded now that when I lived in Phoenix, it got to be 90 in December. So, yeah. It's a dry heat. It's weird how the body reacts to temperature too. Like, you'll go through winter and you have the first, those of you that have the foot of snow outside right now, you'll get to the point in spring when all of a sudden it's 50 degrees outside and you're like, oh, it's t-shirt weather, And Meanwhile, when it hits 50 in fall, you're like in 2 sweaters and you're like, what's going on? It's a 32 here and people are out in shorts. Yeah. My baguettes have gotten thicker. They're growing. They're happy to see you, chat. It's gotten below 32 here, but that's not during the day. It's gotten below freezing at night. Though actually, I think it's been a minute. It's like, I don't remember it going below freezing this year. Have we gotten frost warnings this year? Maybe. I don't know. Get over here. Moisten my baguettes with this egg wash. Chat was like, I never knew egg washing baguettes could be a sensual experience. And a bit of salt over the top. And those are ready to go in the oven when the taters come out. We're cooking these at 400, right? I haven't checked. Ooh, we're doing 450. 450. Oh, we'll be here for a bit, so we still got to bake the bread. This might be painful for some of you, so I understand if you have to look away while I do this. All done, you can... Got 3.5 minutes here until the switch up in the oven occurs. Although we have to preheat the oven up to 450. King Arthur wants another 50 degrees in his oven temp for baguettes, so we'll give it to him. Give him the king what he wants. Turn the heat off on the potatoes here now, just letting the pan stay warm with them in there. Till the other potatoes can come out and they can join forces. We'll get to do a comparison, like 40 minutes at 400 degrees or doing them in a pan. Right now I'm thinking the pan probably turned out a little bit better. Like those are looking pretty damn tasty. I am going to turn the gravy back on. I don't know if I told everyone before, but I turned the gravy off a long time ago just because it was just sitting here bubbling for no real necessary reason. And we'll get another small flame going underneath that and warm that back up to a bubbling temp. I don't want it I want it just barely at like a simmer to maybe a very light boil for adding the beef in there. I don't want it like a rolling boil. I don't want it super hot. I know traditionally this sandwich is served with beef that's like shoe leather practically, like very much cooked through, very much not pink roast beef. Sorry. I like beef that's a little more tender. And so going with roast beef that is somewhat pink in the center, dip in the gravy, which will most certainly kill that pink in the center, and then we're dipping the whole thing, hopefully. Mmm. Okay, taters coming out. Oven temp changed to 450. Let's see here. Which is our superior choices here after I flip these? What do we got for color here? We got some nice color on these too. I would say that's almost even, although the oven I still think took a little bit longer to get here. I think we're very comparable in cook and how well done they are. Those pretty close. All right, we're going to take these and add these back over here with these because we need to build our sauce in our pan now. Sauce, you say, for potatoes? Yes, sauce. Take our hot pan off of the counter over here. I'll put it on the counter over here. I'll let those sit. Heat back on under the oil. Nice full flame now. And we're going to use maybe the last of this flour. Now this is chicken Vesuvio, traditionally the potatoes go with, so it's done with chicken. I don't think I'm going to use chicken stock for this. Are you okay with that, chat? We're going beef instead. Beef. Beef. In a waste not, want not mood, I used the remainder of the egg that I used for the egg wash in with the water here that I'm throwing into our sauce. Lemon juice. With a lack of white wine really to use, I'm going to use a little apple cider vinegar. So very much inauthentic on our Vesuvio potatoes, I guess. Yeah. Hey, Melvin. Welcome, welcome. Oregano. If you're a rosemary fan, this is a prime for some rosemary. But essentially, it's a very acidic, white, wine-ish Italian sauce. Herbs, acidic, yeah, some lemon, some wine, some herbs, thickened with a roux, and then tossed back with our roasty toasty potatoes. That said, like I said, there are all sorts of different interpretations of this dish. And there are many interpretations of this dish where there isn't even really like a sauce involved at all. They're just tossing it in like some chicken and lemon like seasonings after they've fried them, or oven's at 450. Bread is going in the oven. And is it 25? 20? 25? 24 to 28. Hit that with a bit of garlic powder too. Rosemary, I don't use a ton anymore. Like, I don't hate rosemary. I hate finding rosemary needles in my food. I actually have 2 rosemary bushes that I could be stealing stuff off of to use for this. It's bubbling a bit hot. Let's turn that down a little bit. And we're just going to cook that flour flavor out of this. Allow this to simmer while we're heating this up and we're cooking our bread. Oh, that's what also they said they can throw it in there, and that I'll throw that in there. We can throw both of these in there, actually, now that I see that. Not that, though. Where are you? Freeze-dried parsley. Freeze-dried thyme. Salt. Pepper. MSG. I doubt the Italians will put MSG in there, but Chicago people might, though. So yeah, I don't do a ton of rosemary. I more like rosemary if it's going to be off on the side, or I'll throw it in the pan with something that I'm cooking. But even then, I'll lose needles, and I'm like, "Ugh." Some of the other herbs I wish I used more often, and it's either price or lack of desire to bother. I don't know. But I could probably use sage more. I could probably use fresh parsley, fresh cilantro, fresh green onions. I could, across the board, I could use those more often. I do use green onions pretty often. Speaking of that, do I have green onions in here right now that I could be using for this? I do. We keep it as nice circles or we go through it again. I think we're going to keep it as nice circles even though it ain't really the thing. Alrighty. Let's see here. Where are we with everything here? Okay, I think we're going to take a little bit of an AFK here. We have just over 15 minutes left on our baguettes in the oven. We got our sauce chilling for our potatoes. Our potatoes are resting and ready to get tossed in the sauce. Get lost in the sauce. And we got our au jus, our onion au jus, steaming away. Nice and warm once again. So I'm going to take a little less than 15 minutes here, and I will see you all back here for the reveal on our fresh baguettes coming out of the oven. See you in a few minutes.
Hey, new Kellogg's OKs. Note the improvement? They put a bear on the box, which improved it so much, they decided to improve the cereal, too.
Oh, come on, Yogi. Let's be serious about Kellogg's new OKs, okay?
Like the Space Bears say, hey, okay.
Well, first, how nutritious are Kellogg's new OKs? Well, they're made from oats. And of all grains, oats are the richest in proteins and rich in other bodybuilding essentials, too. In fact, some people consider it their duty to eat oats. Yogi. But now, with a really delicious oat cereal like Kellogg's OKs around, people can have their oats and enjoy them, too. Especially Kellogg's new OKs. For Kellogg's new OKs are crispier... Cripsier and toastier, and therefore tastier than ever. So for the best in oats, get Kellogg's new OKs.
The one with the bear on the box. Suitable for Freeman.
Yes, sir. If you want real entertainment, the best place to find it is in front of a General Electric Black Daylight Big-as-Life television set. Sports, comedy, drama, news, music. Yes, they're all yours, merely at the turn of a dial. This model has a big 16-inch black rectangular tube that lets you see everything that the camera sees, true to life and as big as life. Sparkling contrast and sharp focus give you pictures of such clarity that you feel you're right there on the scene. The cabinet, designed and constructed by America's leading cabinet makers, fits gracefully into any type of room. Genuine mahogany veneers, hand-rubbed for lasting beauty and durability, are just one example of the painstaking attention to every detail, which makes this cabinet one that you'll be proud to have in your home. The precision engineering and careful assembly techniques used in making this General Electric Black Daylight television set are your assurance of television at its finest. See it in operation at your General Electric dealers tomorrow. And when you see it, well, you'll know that you're seeing the best.
There's no other box of facial tissues like this. Scotty's new Magic Oval box. Only Scotty's give you tissues that float up gently, one at a time, and come out in neat handfuls, too, because there's a Magic Oval inside every new Scotty's box. Only Scotty's Magic Oval can give you tissues that float up, smooth and easy. No tugging, no tearing, no extra tissues tagging along. And Scotty's Magic Oval does even more. It lets you reach in for tissues by the handful, all neatly folded, just right for pocket or purse. Scotty's new magic oval box is pretty too. And inside, soft, strong, sneeze-proof Scotties. Remember, for tissues that float up smoothly and come out in neatly folded handfuls, look for Scotty's pretty new magic oval box, the only one of its kind.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
And now, before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn. A complete assortment of delicious candy and a full line of cigarettes. You've plenty of time, so visit the snack bar now. A tasty treat will double your enjoyment of the show. For your convenience, we shall keep you informed of the remaining intermission time, 3 minutes before the next show starts.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
The next show will start in 2 minutes.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can.
It's so good hot. It's so good cold.
It hits the spot with young and old.
Yes, toddy pleases everybody. Delicious chocolate malted toddy, made with rich, real milk, not powdered milk.
So come and get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
Just a minute, folks. Yes, that's all it takes to visit our refreshment counter in the lobby. There you'll find popcorn and an assortment of popular candy bars to please every taste. Try one of these delicious candy bars. Big Time, Butternut, Milkshake, Payday. Topped with Hollywood's super rich coating of the kind you like best. They taste wonderful, they're delicious, they're nutritious. Get one at our confection counter in the lobby now. The next show will start in 1 minute.
Now, at your favorite grocery store, the most amazing food wrap ever developed, Saran Wrap.
Have you tried Saran Wrap? It really is amazing. Saran Wrap is crystal clear plastic. It keeps everything you wrap in plain sight. And look, Saran Wrap clings like magic. It makes a neat package of anything you wrap, without strings or tape or rubber bands. Food stay fresh far longer and tastes better, too, because the flavor is locked in. Now you can prepare sandwiches for picnics and lunch boxes ahead of time and be sure they'll stay fresh and tasty. You see, Saran Wrap is a wonderful time saver as well as a food saver. Prove it in your own kitchen. Buy a roll of Saran Wrap today, and you won't be without it again.
Get Saran Wrap at your grocer's. Saran Wrap is a product of the Dow Chemical Company.
You are now looking at a slice of bread being spread with creamy-style Skippy peanut butter, as only Mary Ellen can spread it there. All right, now, as you look at that, don't want you to leave me, because I want to show you something, believe it or not, that a lot of people like even better. Suppose we were to take some fresh roasted peanuts here, and like Mary Ellen has been doing all evening, and putting them in a nut chopper here. Give a couple more little chugs, will you, please? Mm-hmm. I think that'll do it just fine. Now you find in there some just tiny little golden nuggets of roasted peanuts, and they are colossal. Now, I want to try something here. Suppose we were to take these, now let me try an experiment, do you mind, honey? And we'd sprinkle them over the creamy-style Skippy. Say, how is that, huh?
Ooh, that looks good.
It does look good. All I did that for was to tell you that you can get that and enjoy it anytime you want. You won't have to go through any chopping process either, because the Skippy people do that for you in chunk style. That's done for you up in the factory. Now, chunk style, you see, has sprinkled all through it very generously through the entire jar those golden little nuggets that you saw there, just about like that. So that's already done for you there. Now, of course, either style, whether it's cream or chunky, if you get Skippy, you are getting the peanut butter that stays fresh right down to the last spoonful in the jar. And so I make it very simple again. I want you to know that this is an honest fact.
If you like peanuts, you'll like Skippy.
She's up. Come in ideal countdown control. Ready for second launching.
Atlas moving into position.
Fuel her up.
All set.
Countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! There she goes!
Yes, you can be in command of your own ideal countdown. It's a real electronic missile base. You sit at the controls and move missiles into place. You count down. You blast off. You track the flight. The ideal countdown comes complete with moon missile and lunar probe, as well as a giant atlas. Get your electronic ideal countdown now, wherever good toys are sold.
It's a wonderful toy. It's ideal.
Univac, the giant electronic brain made only by Remington Rand, takes business statistics from magnetic tape, letters, numbers, and punctuation marks, processing them through its electronic circuits at phenomenal speeds. Univac can compute payrolls electronically, then produce printed checks in a flash. Over 8,000 checks an hour with this high-speed printer. Univac leads the field of electronic computing.
Something different for a change? Then try the perfect refreshment. Chili Dilly, a delicious pickle treat that's spiced just right for every bite. Economical, too. There's no waste. You eat every bit of the juicy goodness of Chili Dilly. How about trying one right now? Chili Dilly, on sale at our concession stand. You'll love 'em.
Folks, why do you eat Wheaties?
We like it.
But did you know it's always been whole wheat with all the bran, and bran is one of nature's best sources of food fiber.
That's news to us.
Wheaties breakfast this morning?
Sure, it helps me feel fit.
But do you know Wheaties has bran fiber your body may need?
That's news to me.
Why Wheaties?
Oh, we love the taste.
Have for years. But do you know for years you've been getting something extra for your diet? Bran fiber?
Well, that's news to me.
Wheaties. It's brand news.
No, Jane and Ann aren't the Crest testers here. Their daddy is. You see, Crest also showed it worked for older people like the Allbrands before it became recognized effective against cavities. Jim, when were you in this toothpaste test?
Back in college.
Let's show the story filmed at a recent reunion. Well, Jim, how did you become part of this toothpaste test?
The dentists at Indiana University asked us to.
Did many others join you in the test?
Quite a few. 246, as a matter of fact.
Did every one of you use Crest in this test?
We use Crest. Their side, regular toothpaste.
Do anything special?
No, everyone brushed as usual for 2 years.
But your group had
34% fewer cavities with Crest.
You know what's happened since these tests, Mrs. Allbrand?
Well, a lot of us use Crest.
And Crest has become the only toothpaste recognized effective against cavities by the American Dental Association. Their Council on Dental Therapeutics reports Crest has been shown to be an effective decay-preventive dentifrice that can be of significant value when used in a conscientiously applied program of oral hygiene and regular professional care. What's your program, Mrs. Allbrand?
Wash between meal treats, brush often, and have regular checkups.
And use Crest, of course. Crest with Fluoristan, the only toothpaste recognized effective against cavities.
Welcome back. Let's get some music going again. Get the camera back to following me. Okay. Our potatoes Vesuvio sauce has been simmering away, as has our au jus, as I'm calling it. We have 16 seconds left on our bread until it comes out, or until the timer goes off for it to come out. Let's look at our breed. We have bread. Crispy outside. Those are going to need a moment. I didn't think about that. I was hopeful that we could just do that and go straight into the beef and go straight into the making sandwiches. But those loaves need to hang out for a moment. We can turn the oven off. That can stop heating my house up nicely. Sitting over in the other room and I'm sweating. I'm like, ugh. I'm looking forward to the moment that stream ends and I can open the other two doors that are going to drop the temperature of this house down by probably about 10 degrees. Especially the bathroom. Like, I try to keep my bathroom door closed during streams because I don't really feel like showing off my bathroom. But, like, all of the cold water just saps all of the temperature out of that room. It's like the heat sink for the entire house is my bathroom. Yes, the baguettes have become fully stiff now. And they're also rippled now too with the cuts. I'm just gonna let those hang out for a little bit. Did it send us out to another ad? Damn it. I ran an ad during my AFK, and now the bot just ran another ad. That was not my intentions. And anyone that saw that ad is not hearing me apologize for it right now because they're watching an ad right now. You know, I never really have studied some of these things back in history as far as marketing that, and I'm sitting here looking at the slices that are done traditionally into the bread and realizing, well, that's probably an early way of entrusting to people that you have a good crumb on your bread that is risen properly. There's actually air bubbles in it, and I've never really thought about it that way. Not even when buying bread myself. Like, it makes so much sense to be like, oh yeah, you can tell that had a good proof. Or didn't have a good proof, or is too dense, or is too airy. Half a chat's like, you don't pay attention to that when you buy bread? Excuse me. And it's feeling a bit softer now that I can get my hands on it a bit more. But there's definitely a little bit of a nice crust to it. Hopefully a nice soft interior though. So which of these should I use for my sandwich tonight, chat? A, B, or C? Started a poll. Which loaf? If you're curious what left is. I saw a photo on social media recently of someone who had gotten a left or an L and an R tattooed on their hands. And I'm just like, what's so hard about that? That's an L. I say that and I mess up my left and right on stream half of the time, but still, I don't need them tattooed on my hand to figure out which one's which. And no, it wasn't like the dude they tried to deport where they had like a photo with things overlaid. It was actually tattooed on this person's hands. Super common thing for people to always have to check. It's a life or death thing and it's what you do, and I can see it. It wasn't that wasn't the way it was presented, so that is not what I was thinking of. Yeah. That's not nearly as fun though. I like just being able to criticize people. Let's see. We had a tie between 1 and 3. Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's not that I can't remember. Well, it's that I can't remember. It's not that I don't know the difference. Like I said, it's pretty easy to tell which one makes an L. No, John Ray, that is not cheese sauce. That is my potatoes Vesuvio sauce, which is a roux thickened. I used vinegar, but wine and lemon and chicken stock, but I use beef stock because I'm having it with a beef sandwich mixture. So it's not potatoes Vesuvio after all tonight, but we're ballpark. And there's a bunch of herbs in there too. I wish I had a way to know who voted for what. But we now apparently have 2 votes for 1. So I'm going to go with number 1, I think. Number 3 looking pretty good. Number 2 was obviously the runt of the group. Where am I going to put these other 2 for now? On a plate, because they're going to get wrapped and put in the fridge. Alright, so I think it's time to add our beef to our sauce. Nope, you're not going to just peel off, so we get to do this fun action in order to hide it from chat. So we got thin sliced roast beef that I'm now going to put in slice by slice into the other sauce. That sauce. Planning for 2 sandwiches here. This is 1.5 pounds of and I think that's a little low. So we're going to add a little more liquid in there. A little more water in there to come up with everything together and heat there. For those just joining in, I didn't cook the actual roast beef for this, so I don't have an actual authentic au jus for my sandwiches. I have made a combination onion, better than bouillon, and Vegemite broth that this is now all in, that I'm also going to be using for dipping. I guess I'm building both of these sandwiches and just throwing one in the fridge. So I might as well grab both of these bad boys. Now, as I'm aware, there isn't... Maybe someone can correct me on this. There isn't anything really here other than our giardiniera and our beef. And the sauce. That's bubbling, so we can turn the heat off on that. We have our hot giardiniera that I'm going to start forking out onto these. I don't know, chat, does it sound more inappropriate if I say forking this ingredient or spooning this ingredient? Actually, I think it's supposed to be beef first with these. All right, this one's dinner. This one's getting wrapped. But before we finish the sandwich, we need to finish our taters. So we're going to take our taters and dump them all down into this lovely sauce and give them a toss. Take our sandwich. Let's give it a dunk. Just set it down in there. I know it isn't quite the whole dunk like they do. I'm sort of lacking pan size for doing that. Yeah, I think that's going to be a winner. Some definite heat from that giardinara, but yeah. This is a winner. Thank you, JK. If you're out there listening, I'm happy with this. I can already tell you the sauce is amazing. Let's try one of these taters with it. Or maybe two of these taters with it. Can't go wrong with that. You know, like acidic, lemony, fresh, you know, makes your mouth water. At the same time, you got that garlic and herb and potato with the savoriness going on. Great combo. And the sandwich, yeah. Pretty certain that's going to be damn awesome, but I'll let all of you know in the Discord later. Let me make sure I got a photo of this before we can move on with the evening. All right. We got the one left over, anyone that's joining in. We baked our bread fresh tonight. This is our one unadulterated loaf. do wish I could have gotten a little more crunch, but like I don't have a oven where I could like inject steam into it, you know. That's like the real way you get one of those is, yeah. I also egg washed them, which isn't really traditional of baguettes, but I didn't want like a floury outside baguette. Might be working better with the gravy, but I didn't really have a ton of gravy to work with either, so. Let's see here. I shall be back here on Sunday, as usual. We're starting our state themes on Sunday. So we're doing quick smoked hindquarters of chicken, and I'm going to make a white barbecue. I don't think I've made a white barbecue sauce on stream before. I may have, but I don't recall doing. I usually go for mustard or one of the sweet ones. Anyways, we're doing that. And we're also doing a lane cake, which is a boozy nut, raisin, and cherry topped cake with a white frosting. So that is our plans for Sunday. It should be a nice long stream, considering we gotta bake and decorate a cake, or at least sort of decorate a cake. And I hope to see you back for that. As always, we got Monday and Wednesday following after that. Please, if you love dill pickles, it needs your vote. Vegemite / Marmite, it's gonna be Vegemite. Is far away leading. This is your call, dill pickle lovers. Does this count as me influencing the vote? Nah. Checking out there to see if there's anyone out there on Twitch tonight. I think I'm just going to leave it there for tonight. I don't think we're going to raid out tonight. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope to see you all back here on Sunday. I wish you the best of your weekend. Go out, have some fun. No, really, go out and have some fun. That's an order. Good night, folks.